Welcome and welcome back. It's another amazing day in paradise. This is my series called Visions of the Future. And I am talking about what I see City Council doing differently. I think this is important to state up front because normally what happens is the City Council is elected and they go to work. They're elected in December. They're elected in November, and they're sworn in December, and then they just go back to work as if nothing ever happened, nothing ever changed, which I think is absolutely ridiculous and crazy. Also, there's no written manual for what to do once you become a city councilor or a mayor. So that's one of the first things that I would do, that I would change. I would request that the meetings be changed to that those meetings in December, whatever was scheduled for decisions, would be changed and moved to January, and that we take our December meetings and we go through what I call Bruce Tuckman's stages of group development. Now, let me repeat that. It's called Bruce Tuckman's stages of group development. And the reason why I'm suggesting it is because it's what we learn about in the second week of Citizens Leadership Academy. The city program, the city initiative, this free city course that is taught by city employees talks about this in the second week. And so it taught the basics of it is that the first stage of group development is obviously the forming, right? You form the group. And then the second step is the storming. I really appreciate that terminology, because sometimes it is a storm when you're coming together with people, everybody's coming from a different perspective and blah, 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 blah. But there's never any storming. And so I would love for our first city council, our public city council meetings to be this storming where we're getting to know each other. But not only that, but we're inviting back all the candidates that ran so that they can provide their ideas so that they aren't left behind. I've learned so much from the other candidates just by being able to listen. But there are things that one person has said that didn't resonate with me until I met somebody else who talked about it, or several other people actually, who talked about it in different ways that it made me feel more comfortable. I was able to compile the information from different resources that helped to validate that person. But when that person said it, I couldn't receive it because it didn't feel right. And so I really appreciate all of the genius that comes, all the brilliance that we have in the candidates. And just because I didn't name them, it wasn't because I didn't respect them. It was just because I think they don't have what I have. I know they don't have what I have. And so those meetings in December, especially because it's the holidays, I want to talk about, I want to put together a city council manual, what is the verbiage that you use when you want to make a motion, or, all of that stuff. It could be 1 page, but it could be 10 pages. You never know. What is, who your policy analyst is and all this other stuff. Should be, every place has an employee handbook, and we're employees. We get paid. So it doesn't make sense that we don't have this. And so I want to go through that storming. I also want to have some time with our city managers and assistant city managers to get updates on all the departments and things of that nature. I want employees who want to speak to be able to come and speak to us and tell us their wins and their sorrows, tell us the lessons they're learning, so we understand what we're walking into and what we need to focus on for the time that we're together. So forming, we come together. Norming or storming is the second. Then norming, we get to work, right? Then the next stage of group development is performing, right? And then adjourning. So in 2 years, when the next election comes around, I think only part of the city council will go up for election because they're trying to move to 4-year terms. I don't remember if it starts with this election or the next election. Again, I'm not the smartest, and that's okay. I don't have to be. I'll be notified at that point. But at least we know in that time frame that we'd be adjourning, and then the next group that comes in has that period to repeat. If we have a new group of people, that people aren't satisfied with the work that we're doing as the 10, and we all run uncontested for some, should that be a thing, and get to spend the next, for the 4 to 8 to 10 years together after that. You never know if people get tired. But could you imagine being in those positions and just love doing what you're doing and seeing the city be a place that everybody can live and not just live, but flourish? And so I'm just really grateful for that. I think it's just the idea of being able to work with people. This is what people strive for. I mean, this is what, when my parents were younger, and many of people in my generation, when their parents were younger, it was, you find that job that you can stay at for 50 years and retire. My dad was at his job for 50 years, almost 50 years. I think it was 49, before they really forced him to retire. But what an amazing journey that would be if we could have a city leadership that everybody just loved, that people were satisfied with, that we had regulated nervous systems, compassion and neuroscience. Anyway, that's what I would do with city council. Is I would go through this process that we teach in Citizens Leadership Academy. And as citizen leaders, I think we should go through it too. And so we have that period to storm and get to know and do it in the public eye, so that people can see where we're coming from, bring up those ideas that others have brought. We don't have a round table where we could sit at and do this, but that would be awesome, to just bring in all the candidates. There's like 30 candidates for a city council. And so everybody's coming with innovative ideas and thoughts and stuff like that, and they should all be heard. And whatever we can work to implement or that magnifies the thoughts that we might have would be so awesome. And so I welcome that. I totally welcome that. And so that's what I would do. And my vision of the future for city council is to go through Bruce Tuckman's stages of group development before we actually handle any city business. Thank you.